I have always been against woke culture. I have always been against open borders. I'm totally aligned with Patrick Bet-David on the issue of woke culture and parental influence or lack thereof that the administration and the left were trying to impose upon the will of the American people. How dare them?
So he's telling.
Oh my God.
Sure, we're good. Let's go.
Now let me spend the rest of my time getting into the Patrick Bet-David, folks, all right? This is before we get to your tweets. I want to address some sound that I heard from the Patrick Bet-David podcast regarding yours truly and my chances as a potential presidential candidate. Listen to this, please.
I like Stephen A. I like the sports talk, and you know, he's a great freaking. He's the best in the game.
You're not with it. You're not.
I'm not
Just
buying,
because he didn't vote for Trump and support
not vote. No, it's the flip flop of every single person.
You're calling Stephen A. a flip flopper.
Every single one of these guys that were on the left, every guy's girl. Now, from the Chanks to the Stephen A's to the Chris Cuomo's to all these people, I'm not buying it at all, okay? And you say this all the time, it's the market. What does the market want? They're shifting because of the market. Listen, with all due respect, I'm not buying none of that shit from none of them, okay? Because they were still on Kamala,
True.
they were still on Biden,
True.
They're still on that anti-American bullshit sentiment. Because if you want to put in people like Biden and you want to put in people like if you voted for Kamala Harris,
which he did,
what the hell do you even stand on? What was your thing? Just not Trump. So it just shifted. All that Trump hating, he's the worst, he's Hitler. I'm not saying Steven said this, but all of them were anti-Trump. We've been saying Trump is this guy since when? Since 2016, we've had this guy's back. And it's not just blind loyalty, Tom. It wasn't that. It was the proof in the pudding. He came in with Russia collusion, Obama and all these guys freaking spying on him. He had all this shit. He had COVID. He had all this stuff, a Russian asset, all that bullshit Putin talk. Sorry. All right? And then now he's back.
Robert,
everybody voted for him. And they're
guys,
have I said anything wrong?
Watch this. Go ahead.
Respectfully, specifically on this particular topic, I don't give a shit what you give a shit about.
Snap.
I'm going to say it twice so we know that I wasn't stuttering. I don't give a shit what you give a shit about as it pertains to this particular subject. Because the one here that is at least somewhat wrong, but clearly devoid of empathy or compassion or understanding is you.
In other news, Florida residents are going to be happy to hear this.
I don't have the.
We have to watch a commercial.
Sorry.
You don't have the what?
Now, before I get any further,
that was a nice little promo for Miami.
I love Vinny. I do.
Yeah.
As I do Adam, as I do Tom, as I do Patrick Bet-David.
Pay close attention. Stephen A. Smith, very talented and skilled orator, right? Knows how to sell a particular stance. He's been doing debate shows for the past, I don't know how many years. We're going to dissect this, what he's saying, because y'all may be saying, like, what is this? Like, why is this even relevant? This is what is, we got to be able to hopefully see what's happening with these politicians, because I think it relates to the conversations that were actually happening in real life. And let's just go, and then I can explain it better afterwards.
And in the interest of full disclosure, before I get any further, I got a lot of love for them.
Come on,
and their podcast.
We don't need all this.
But I got a lot of love on a personal level for a guy by the name of Patrick Bet-David. I was received. So I got love for Adam too. Could you calm down? Please?
You saying to Vinny?
Yeah.
Because you act like.
First thing that people do when they get called out for something and they're wrong, yo, can you calm down? Not address what was actually stated, right? Can you how many times y'all got into an argument with some, yo, calm down, like, yo, you talking, like, I don't like how you talk, but address what I said.
We had to have voted against Trump for the specific reasons that you're articulating.
Good word.
The border is a primary issue with you. We understand that. So how could anybody possibly vote for Kamala Harris? Well, what if their issue wasn't the border? What if their issue
So what if their issue wasn't the border? Cool. I understand that.
was avoiding chaos? What if their issue was not wanting a president in office that was willing to pad his own wallets and his own coffers while being the statesman that sits in the presidency of the United States of America?
So what if he said, what if the things that you prioritized, your biggest issues, and he's saying, what if? So he's trying to play a little bit of games. That's what he's trying to say, that, well, those were my issues. I didn't want the chaos. And I didn't want a president that was trying to pad his own pockets by being in office. Remember those two things.
What if the priority wasn't safety in the streets? What if the priority was that they were for woke culture? There's a bevy of reasons. Why are you acting like everybody has to be a monolith, like they have to be of one set of thinking and of one mind in order to vote this way? I watched the whole episode with you and Patrick Bet David and Adam and Tom. Patrick Bet David, PBD, the man himself, asked you specifically, all three of them, what was your top two priorities for the election? Each of y'all gave a different answer.
That's right.
You talked about the economy. PBD talked about woke culture. Tom talked about safety in the streets. I'm sorry, the producer, behind the scenes. Talked about safety in the streets. Adam talked about the borders. And I forgot what else. And I'm sorry if I forgot the other part about you, Vinny. But the point is, all of y'all had different reasons. It's America. You're going to have different beliefs. So what? Now let's get to me, because I'm who you were talking about, that you lumped in with other people, even though I do appreciate you pointing out that I didn't say those incendiary things about President Trump. I appreciate that, seriously. And I got nothing but love for you. We just disagreeing on this particular issue. I'm not monolithic in my thinking. We live in a binary system. There's shit I didn't like about both of them. I have always been against woke culture. I have always been against open borders. I'm totally aligned with Patrick Bet David on the issue of woke culture and parental influence or lack thereof that the administration and the left were trying to impose upon the will of the American people. How dare them?
So he's telling Vinny to calm down. Now look at him. But we're going to read past the BS and dissect this, because this is what we have to do with people that are gifted in communicating, like Stephen A. Smith. He said, let's get to him. He said that he agrees with woke, the fact that woke ideology is out of control. He said he agrees on protecting the border. So you started off by saying there's things with both people that you disagreed with, but you agree with the border, Trump's mindset, right? You agree with Trump's plan for the border. You agree with Trump when it comes to getting rid of this woke ideology. Let's keep going.
They were wrong.
Rob, you can pause at this point.
Okay.
Vinny, by the way, he's on fire.
I love it. And he's the one that said, calm down to me. Yeah. He said, calm down. He's about to have a heart attack.
Yeah. You're calm down now, boy.
Are you ready for this? And again, Steven, I love you too, bro. And again, when I see you hug, it's all good. But you were against all that. You were against that. You were against the border. You're against the woke culture. But where were you at for the 4 years? I'm just very curious. I'm hoping you could articulate. Where were you for those 4 years? You were just on the sideline. You weren't saying anything. You said on this show that you would rather have a president with dementia than Trump.
I think that's a good place to pause it. This is what happens, and this is why I did that exercise a long time ago with people and said, hey, let's actually look at the policies. You say that you agree with Joe Biden. You say that, or everything. Matter of fact, let me rephrase that. You never say the things that you agree with Joe Biden on. Most of the time, you just say the things that you dislike about Trump. So Stephen A. Smith said he agrees with Trump on the border, agrees with Trump going against the woke ideology. And I told y'all before, that was the cultural thing that led my decision making from a cultural standpoint. And it's a lot of other things when it comes to culture as well. The culture of us not caring about our health, but always taking these microwave approaches to problems, getting BBLs, taking Ozempic, rather than just encouraging people to eat healthier, rather than calling out the Food and Drug Administration that has failed us. That's why I was excited with RFK Jr. To me, those are cultural things, cultural phenomenons that have us as one of the most unhealthy groups of people. So I don't want to go into all that. Stephen A. Smith, you didn't say one thing that you agree with for voting for Kamala Harris. You've said before plenty of times, Vinny called out what you said on their show, but you said plenty of times that from a money standpoint, you're a conservative. But then you said before, from a cultural standpoint, you lean liberal. But now you're saying that you agree totally with Patrick Bet-David and being against all the woke ideology. What culture are you talking about? And this is what happens with people that try to play both sides. And this is what happens with a lot of people that continue to vote Democrat, even though they sit back and realize, I'm actually conservative. I actually don't like just encouraging women to just walk around being naked and all the. I'm actually conservative when I look at a lot of these things. But because we lead with feelings and make decisions based on feelings, and I hate Trump, he's a bad man, all of our logic goes out the window. You can't tell me, let's list it. I told you, I did the exercise with people. List the top 10 things that are important to you in this election. Which side do you align more with? But what did I say before? These single issue voters, because you can agree with Trump on the border. You can agree with Trump when it comes to the woke ideologies. You can agree with Trump doing what he's doing with the tariffs. You can agree with him doing whatever, even though you'll still complain about it and say, well, it's the way he's doing it. Well, the person that you voted for when they were in office, they didn't even try to do it. So don't give me it's the way he's doing it. That's just an excuse. You can agree with all these things that Trump is doing, but then have one issue and say, well, my Social Security's higher. You are the reason why things have become so radicalized, because you think that you can just lock in on one issue and align with people that are pushing all of this other radical ideologies, all these other radical ideologies. But because you think, because CNN and MSNBC told you that Trump's getting rid of Social Security, he's going to lower your Social Security because Elon Musk is going in there and cutting stuff, even though it's been pretty consistent the entire time Trump was running and the entire time up to this point now. Now, I don't know what he's going to do in the future, but he's made it very clear, I'm not attacking Social Security. But because we put that in our mind, because it's the only thing that we can hang on, it's the only thing that we think we agree with Biden on, we think we agree with Kamala Harris on, we're going to vote for these things. And that is why the Democratic Party has gotten so radical and extreme and out of their minds, because people continue to support things that they disagree with. So therefore, it empowers the party to get more and more extreme, right? Because as one side gets more extreme, the other side gets more extreme. So therefore, they're leaving the actual moderate Democrats, and the moderate Democrats, I would say that moderate Democrats, when it comes to just policy and not personality, you agree with the conservatives. But you will never convince a moderate Democrat in a lot of ways, well, maybe some of them, to go that way. So now what Stephen A. Smith is doing, because he's running for your vote, he's trying to get your vote. He's going to do the same thing that Gavin Newsom's doing. He's going to do the same thing that Target was doing. When he's, oh, yeah, whatever he's going to do the same thing that the Democratic Party did when it came to even bringing on Kamala Harris as a vice president. How did Kamala Harris qualify to be vice president? Literally, her only two qualifications were being black and being a woman. She performed horribly when she was trying to become president. So what made her qualify to be the shoo-in for vice president? This is what happens. And when you give people positions that they don't deserve, they create a sense of entitlement. Target's dealing with that entitlement right now. The Democratic Party, for whatever reason, they haven't had to deal with it the way that Target's dealing with it, because black people just continue to just vote for the Democratic Party regardless of what. Now, when Trump's not in office, the Democrats may be in trouble, because all these people that are just voting against are voting for the Democrats just because they hate Trump, don't let it be a Republican that people semi-like. The Democratic Party may be done for good. Honestly, we're looking at it right now, and it looks like they're splitting, which I think would probably be a positive thing at the end of the day for them, because it'll kind of highlight all the craziness and hopefully get people back to, a more sane approach to a lot of these things, just in my opinion. So we don't need to go in on that anymore, but those are just the things that I was thinking about. All these celebrities, in my opinion, a lot of them, who vote for Kamala, they're not all of a sudden waking up. Bill Maher is not all of a sudden waking up. All these people, Gavin Newsom, they're not just all of a sudden waking up. They just didn't want to risk. And this goes to Stephen A. Smith. You just didn't want to risk offending black women. Let's just be honest. That's why you voted for Kamala Harris, because you didn't want to risk offending black women. You didn't want to risk being canceled. Or matter of fact, the new word, instead of canceled, you didn't want to risk being targeted. All right. All pun intended. That's the new word. Instead of canceled, we're going to use you've been targeted, because that's what. First and foremost, want to give a huge shout out to everybody that continues to tap in with us, like and subscribe and join our community. If you haven't already, please make sure that you do. We look forward to engaging in some dope convo with you that can help us all elevate. So like, subscribe, and maybe even share the video if you're feeling real generous. On that note, we'll let you get back to the video. See you soon. Ew. And something else that I forgot to mention with the whole Stephen A. Smith thing. How did I mention this? How did I forget to mention this? Remember when Stephen A. Smith said, and I just thought about it, when Stephen A. Smith said, I told y'all to remember two things. He said that he didn't want to vote for a president that was, or he said, maybe they just don't want chaos that a president would bring, or trying to line their pockets. Let me show y'all what good old ChatGPT came up with. Now, we know it's ChatGPT, but I forgot that I pulled this up for y'all to take a look at, because this just shows all this hypocrisy. I'm sorry I'm bouncing back and forth, but I just wanted to show y'all the hypocrisy. Is this it right here? Hold on. I think this is it. Let me see if this is it. Let me make sure. Okay, this is what I want y'all to look at. I pulled this up. Now, it's ChatGPT, but I kind of confirmed it. Well, I heard somebody else say it, and then I just looked it up on ChatGPT. Stephen A. Smith said that he didn't want a president that was trying to pad his pockets. So I looked at Donald Trump. And I said, okay, everybody's calling out Donald Trump, thinking that Donald Trump is trying to enrich himself as the businessman, right? To make more money as the president. But then I looked at his net worth before he was president at $3.7 billion. And then I looked after the first term, and it went down to approximately $2.3 billion. Now, here it says right now it's gone up. But I want to look at this instance, because obviously when Stephen A. Smith was making his decision, he did not know that Trump's would boost, now that he became president again in 2025, which is understandable. But from his first presidency to when he lost, it decreased to $2.3 billion. So when Stephen A. Smith's making his decision on who to vote for, and you look at how much Donald Trump's lost after he was president, he lost what, $1.4 billion. But then you look at all the other presidents. Joe Biden went from an estimated, before his presidency, 7 to 9 million to 10 to 15 million. Bill Clinton went from 1.3 million before president to approximately 120 million right now. Barack Obama went from 1.3 million to approximately 70 million right now. This is why I say these people are full of it. Stephen A. Smith, to all these other people, they're full of it. When you have to try to rationalize your decision making with bringing some sort of logic, you get called out on it. You're worried about a president trying to line his pockets. How did Biden's net worth grow so much? How did Bill Clinton go from 1 million to what did I say he was at, 120 million? To 120 million. How did Barack go from 1 million to 70 million? Donald Trump went from 3.7 billion to 2.3 billion. This is what I mean when the arguments are not consistent. It's just what you're triggered by off of your feelings. When you look at the actual numbers, it doesn't align with what people are presenting. It just is what it is. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.